Thank you very much, Jane. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for all of you to participate to this session. First time in Galway, we try to bring some from Florence. That is still summertime over there. So I hope that you will have the opportunity to come and enjoy Florence. I don't know if Jane has never been to Florence, but she's really welcome to come as well. So I'm going to introduce this session. Here you can see some words: adoption, deployment, and impact. I will try to go through this wording. I'm not speaking about technology. We had a lot of input this morning. I'm biomedical engineer, so sooner or later we'll speak about technology as well. But Medea, I'm going to introduce briefly Medea. Medea, actually, we have been working since this year. We celebrate 25 years, actually, in the domain of active aging, and the main goal actually is promote quality of life and to provide also some evidence through impact assessment. And the innovation, as we said this morning, is something that is really tricky in the healthcare sector. So the innovation management is really a challenge, and I don't think that we have to wait for a pandemic situation, not to boost the innovation into the healthcare sector. So it's really important to provide the food for evidence and to the decision maker to come across some innovation process. And we have been working in this domain in different contexts and in different European projects. Here there is a list of projects. Pharaon, Active Age, Odin are the largest project funded by European Commission in this domain of smart hospital and active health aging. And we have a sister company that is OrthoKey. OrthoKey actually is producing a digital device for orthopedic surgery. So we combine all the, let's say, commercial and regulatory aspect of a standard medical tech company, working with a very high-tech technology with the overall process of the innovation. And this morning we had the demonstration that video are really important, so we try to make our best in a few time to develop a video to speak about Medea. And here you see that there is a lot of complexity in this contest, and there are a lot of questions, and we never know what's the starting point, if we have to start from technology or from the service, and how we can integrate all these elements. And it's not easy not to work in this context because there are also users. It's not just a service, and we have to take into account that there is also sustainability issues across all these elements. So whenever we face a project or innovation adoption, there is always a question where we have to start from. And there are, first of all, people and users, so we cannot forget, and the user-centric design this morning has been addressed very well. And all these people have specific needs and wishes, and there are also decision makers that we will see later that must be taken into account in this process. And but all these, let's say, figures, how we can get out from this complexity, no? And Medea has been working across the time not only to support the technical innovation, but also to support the overall innovation process. And there are a number of needs, there are a number of elements in the contest. There is an issue of resources, and also an issue of which are the value, which are the objectives of all these projects. Networking and team spirit across Europe is fundamental to create, let's say, a proper context, a proper framework to have innovation context where we can deploy service. So we like to see ourselves as an innovation facilitator, because we need to work with a team of different disciplines, and we cannot, let's say, push all this process by ourselves on a single region. We have the ambition to work at European and international level, because there are so many, let's say, level of contribution that we can merge together. And the collaboration with the Ulster University and Jane, the Galway University, is an example of this activity. And so I'm going to speak on the some level that the European Commission knows very well. So there are a lot of funding, there are a lot of experience at the regional level, at company level, and they produce a lot of experience and technology. And most of these experience are very fragmented, and it's difficult not to have an impact afterwards. And there are a number of reasons that the European Commission doesn't reach the expected impact of the project, they don't continue. And there is a complexity, of course, of this reason. There is not just the technology. Most of the time is education, is marketing, and availability for resources. But we are not speaking about, let's say, startup of attracting public or private investors. We are speaking how a service that is already available can be scaling up, can be promoted in a large scale, and can generate evidence of its value. So we are not speaking about how a startup has to raise funding and to pitch properly some idea, some innovation, but we are speaking about something that has been already demonstrated. Apart from the technology point of view, we are working with the Tuscany region of the family nurse initiative that involves 24,000 nurses across Tuscany to deliver service at home. And the technology is not the point. The main issues is to have equity distribution of the service across the region, and to be able to scale up this level of service more and more to all the citizens. So today we are addressing this level of challenge. So I like to always share with you which is the challenge that we see at this stage. So there are technology, there are service, and then there is a market. And if we want to have a scalable solution, this is part of the design or co-design approach, but if we wanted to have an impact and having a real adoption, we have to also take into account the decision makers' engagement. And this is something that sometimes we forget. We start from a technology push or a clinical problem. We say, okay, if we solve this, let's say, cognitive problem for people with dementia, we have a lot of impact. Yes, it's important, but we need to understand which is the decision makers' point of view, what they want to see as a result, as a cost benefit, as a sustainability, as a time-wise experience, because very often decision makers, they don't last so much, so they wanted to have results in a very short time. So we are aware that there is a lot of, let's say, elements that are not strictly related to clinical or quality of life impact. They are related to marketing, to political trend, to technology push. But we would like to also to stress that it's important to generate evidence of the value of new service. And of course, we need to have an adoption at the beginning. Chris Nugent this morning was speaking about data collection and synthetic data. And to show the impact, the evidence of a service, we need to have a service adoption. So in the next slide, I'm going to speak about these two concepts, the innovation adoption and scalability, and the impact assessment criteria. So the innovation can support healthcare systems sustainability and scalability if it's cost effective. It's really important to set which is the expected target of a specific service. So if we do home care monitoring or medication management support, it's really important to clarify which are the expected target in terms of quality of life, in terms of sustainability, in terms of innovation. So there is no just one value, one just evidence that we can generate. And to understand which are the, let's say, the expected target is really important to address the context. And the context are, again, the decision makers, the users, and the service provider. And the, let's say, innovation adoption analysis, there is a lot of let's say, a formal theory behind the innovation adoption, and we are happy to collaborate with Ulster University on this theme. But the innovation adoption is, let's say, the strategy to bridge the gap between innovation and daily practice. So a lot of service and projects demonstrate a potential value, but then there is a barrier, no, to the adoption. We have seen so many technology this morning, wonderful drone, wonderful telemedicine application, and I really congratulate with the people that realized this piece of technology. But also during pandemic, the telemedicine application were not used because people, they didn't know how to use the telemedicine platform in place. So there were no training, there were no confidence, there were no people able to follow up the telemedicine service in order to go directly to a specific patients, to a specific users. So we need to take into account these elements because we are very good to deliver technology, but we forget about the co-design, the user engagement, the proper service deployment strategy. And you can put robot everywhere, and then people get used. After a while, they don't care robot as well. And you need to engage people to listen to the robot, to listen to an avatar or whatever. So this is the innovation process that we have to deal, and it's not just a matter of technology. It's a matter of business model. It's a matter of regulatory. It's a matter of training and understanding the real needs and expectation, and cultural, of course, know-how and technological infrastructure. But technological infrastructure, I wouldn't say they are not the main issues. No, everybody is speaking about 5G and so on. It's fine, but the family nurse doesn't need 5G. It needs a proper connection. Okay, 20 minutes left. Okay, fine. So thank you for inviting me in this this conference. Okay, so I try to slow down, and because I have only 20 slides more, so and the innovation adoption, the scalability is a process, and that take into account the co-design, the training, and deployment that must be supported by evaluation process that collect the data to show the impact. And this is, let's say, the level of innovation that we can expect. There are several, let's say, pillars in the sustainability, in the innovation adoption and scalability. So this is, we have to address sustainability, user-centered approach, co-design, the training. For me, it's always underestimated the relevance of training of stakeholders, nurses, practitioners, informal caregivers, users, is underestimated. Deployment strategy and specific dedicated resources. So nothing to do with the technology. So the innovation adoption is also related to the impact assessment. Why? Because the innovation can be supported by proper, as we were saying before, stakeholder needs analysis that target a specific, let's say, level of needs from service manager, decision maker, and so on. Manage to raise the level of engagement and is able to, let's say, impact, to assess the impact of the specific value generated by the innovation. The impact assessment itself is an iterative process that can support the innovation all along the way, and can verify the achievement of the service and also identify problem and overcome possible barriers. And this impact assessment is really strategic to generate evidence to support the decision maker to take a decision. The decision will not be taken only on this evidence, but it's important to generate this evidence. There are a lot of experience in the rural community, in the mountains, of a service that had been deployed. Everybody was happy, but nobody was recording the real impact and value generated for citizens, for caregivers, and so on. So this is the process, starting from a small scale evaluation to have, let's say, proper adoption, proper data, to scale up to generate evidence with a further level of investment, and to engage more and more users and more service providers in this context. We have developed as Medea also a platform to collect all this information to support the impact assessment, because otherwise we speak about the methodology, but we need to provide a report and data. So this platform is able to support the definition of specific key performance indicator for any, let's say, service, and then start collecting data, making data quality analysis, and elaborate different indicators to produce a report through a dashboard that each pilot can manage also by himself. Here just an example of a service where 24 million from European Commission have been delivered. One of the pilot was the Valencia community, where home monitoring, outdoor monitoring have been adopted by more than 100 people that are currently growing and paying the service. And here we apply all the context analysis, the service design, and the service deployment that has been taken into account the key performance indicator defined by the decision maker, by the stakeholder, which is the lesson learned, which is the strategy to promote scaling up with the local authorities and also in other regions. We believe that there is a huge room to increase the impact of this digital technology, and we are sharing with several people here, also contests where we enjoy to meet together, report this experience, and also have a vision for future initiatives. And we run this summer, the Medea Academy, where Jane and other people had the opportunity to attend. We look forward also to welcome you in the future events. Thank you.